Hey, what's going on, Flight Simmers? My name is Rowan, and we are back. Yes, I've been away for the last nearly a year now, actually. I've been busy away doing my flight training, as I've mentioned before, and I have now completed it, so I'm now a certified flight instructor, which is an amazing feeling, actually. But moving on from that, we're going to start looking into the news, which has happened in the last couple weeks. So to get straight into it, we're going to start looking at one of the biggest projects which we have been looking forward to since their announcement. That is going to be the TFDI MD-11. Reason why this project has caught my eye so much is the way how they are actually approaching the project itself and trying to display it to the customers, being us. So I think TFDI have learned from their mistakes before, as I'm sure some of you are aware. They had a bit of a mess up with the releasing of the 717 for P3D, which was very unfortunate, and they've definitely learned from their mistakes since then. So I think their approach of doing a collector's edition, which allowed them to do some funding to keep the project going at its pace, is a great idea. But they are also showing that they want to be getting the details correct before the official release. In my eyes, I think that is probably one of the best ways to actually approach selling and also advertising a new product, because we do not want a product like Bredoct or Captain Sim, which appears to be brilliant, but in reality it is just a cheap knockoff product. So the MD-11 progress is quite substantial, actually. So in the most recent days, we've actually gotten some news on when the collector's edition, which I unfortunately am not part of due to me being busy in real life in the States doing my flight training, so it actually caught me by surprise with the collector's edition drop. But it is actually expected to be released, and I mean the collector's edition, by the 16th of October 2023. That is less than a month away before the collector's edition, which is essentially like a pre-beta or beta product, which would allow them to conduct further training at a deeper level, which their testers cannot do themselves due to time. Now, I do think that this approach is a very smart way in terms of a business decision, because not only are they creating funds to further fix bugs which they may not have been able to afford to fix previously, but they are also saving money on staff by releasing a beta version and having a large group of people test the product in many different ways, which their group of in-house testers may not have been able to test due to time and money limitations. Now let's look into what they've actually been doing over the last year or so. So I think one of the most important parts of a project when it comes to developing a aircraft for a simulator is the systems. The systems is a core part of a product when it comes to Microsoft Flight Simulator. So according to their status website, it's showing that they've completed at least 80% of all of their systems. This is the FMS or Flight Management System, and also their core systems, as I'm showing on the screen right now. They have also practically completed all of their displays, so their PFD, navigational display, and so on. Their sounds unfortunately do seem to be lacking. However, in a project like this, it's to be expected that the sounds are done last, after they've got all the core systems in place, so that they can then create the sounds to match the systems. Another section which is quite ahead is their artwork, so the exterior model, the different variants, the animations, for example, like landing gear, or even the cargo doors which open and close. They also say that the passenger General Electric powered external model is nearly complete, and the cargo and the Pratt & Whitney models are progressing quite well as well. So if you want to read a bit more information about what they're doing, I will link their website in the description, which shows the progress on each section of the aircraft. However, there's one section which caught my eye, which I never spotted before, and this is the supporting and integrated systems section. So if we read the description of it, it states this includes smart cars integration, or ACARS for us, CPDLC, which is essentially a system which connects the aircraft to air traffic control, shared cockpit. Now this is a very interesting one. I've never spotted this one before, and I'm not sure if anyone has actually covered it before. But if TFDI manages to create a shared cockpit for Microsoft Flight Simulator for a complex or high fidelity aircraft like this is what they're promising, it's going to break the game. And I don't mean in a bad way, I mean in a good way. The last time I have used a half decent shared cockpit, I think, was over a year ago, and that was the Your Controls shared cockpit. This was a third party add-on which was actually our first video, which is still our most successful video on the channel to date. And it was still buggy, it was usable, but it had a lot of potential, and unfortunately the project got dropped. So if TFDI can create a shared cockpit for a complex aircraft, bear in mind that the Your Controls was based off of the basic systems, this will actually be a groundbreaking product in itself, which is quite amazing. Then of course we got the failures which are to be expected for high fidelity aircraft, EFB, which is pretty much the gold standard for any aircraft nowadays anyways, and then obviously the installation and customization systems as well, so they're third party software which controls the aircraft. So what we have essentially learned is that the TFDI is taking the right approach. They're trying to figure out quickly and efficiently how to resolve the bugs, and also trying to create funding to then progress further, and also that they're taking a more cautious approach as well with the releasing of a product, as they've learnt from the 717 project for P3D. The other side which we have to realise is that TFDI is producing a product for both P3D and Microsoft Flight Simulator. So I believe that both projects, being the MD-11, are both at the same point. However, from what I've heard so far, the P3D one is progressing slightly faster due to them being able to code faster for P3D because of the familiarity of producing products previously for P3D. But that doesn't mean that the MSFS version is lacking behind, because apparently they are essentially neck and neck at this point. So that basically wraps up everything about the MD-11, what we've learned so far. It's really quite exciting to know what's actually happening, because this is a rare aircraft which is not flown that often anymore. And to see this progressing so well and appear to be succeeding so far is very exciting to us and the whole community. So that sums up this video regarding the MD-11 for P3D and Microsoft Flight Simulator. So I'm aware that most of these points which I've covered you might have heard of already, however there were a few key points which I know hasn't been covered before, which is why I am creating this video. Regarding the collector's edition though, I unfortunately am not in the program as I mentioned before, but I will be in contact with a few people who have got the collector's editions, so I can keep you guys up to date as much as possible regarding the MD-11. So I just want to thank you for tuning back in. It's been a while guys, but I unfortunately do have to wrap this video up. If you want to keep informed, make sure you do click on that subscribe button, and if you liked the video, make sure you do click on that like button too. My name has been Rowan, and you have been watching Information Alpha. See ya.